Every single year, the bodies of half the population on this planet undergo a painful process of internal destruction and reconstruction, releasing a total of over 2 billion liters of blood worldwide. Yet, for hundreds of thousands of years, humanity never left a single official record of it. In early history textbooks, can you actually believe that? A brutal biological reality, a silent war of survival taking place right inside the female body, was completely ignored by the scientific community for centuries. Let us travel back 40,000 years into the past, right into the freezing depths of the ancient Ice Age steppe. Out here in the bitter cold, a resilient young woman with weather-beaten, sun-kissed skin crouches alone by a frozen stream, her messy dark brown hair tied back with a simple leather cord. Her body shivers violently from intense uterine contractions as deep red droplets begin to fall onto the pristine white snow, leaving a stark trail in the wilderness. In this harsh, primal world, teeming with deadly predators, this young woman and her prehistoric sisters had no supermarkets, no manufactured pads, and no pain medication. Today, it takes us less than 3 seconds to unwrap a sterile, convenient, modern sanitary napkin. But did you know that this indispensable, everyday item has actually been on the market for less than 100 years? To answer the mystery of how they survived, we must look at concrete evidence from archaeology. The research institution Digit, Scotland explains that all materials used by ancient women were organic, such as plant fibers and moss, which decompose rapidly in damp soil without leaving a trace. Early archaeology was dominated by male scholars who simply did not view menstruation as a serious scientific topic, so they never looked for evidence. However, over the past 2 decades, this silence has finally been shattered by groundbreaking scientific discoveries that reveal a stunning evolutionary truth. To understand how prehistoric women managed, we must first decode a massive evolutionary puzzle. Why did natural selection fail to eliminate this dangerous, painful, and highly inconvenient process over millions of years? The answer is mind-blowing, and it lies directly within the massive size of the human brain. In most other mammals, such as cows or pigs, the developing embryo is incredibly gentle within the womb. It merely attaches lightly to the surface of the uterine wall, quietly receiving nutrients actively provided by the mother's body through a protective barrier, without ever making direct contact with her primary blood vessels. But the human embryo is an entirely different story. It is vastly more aggressive, behaving almost like a biological invader. Upon entering the uterus, a human embryo actively destroys the surface tissue, drills directly through the uterine wall, and plugs its own vessels straight into the mother's circulatory system to seize nutrients. In biology, this extreme and invasive mechanism is known as hemocorial placentation. Why did the fetus evolve such an aggressive method? It all comes down to the relentless, energy-hungry demands of our massive, complex human brains. At birth, a human newborn's brain already accounts for a staggering 10% of its total body weight, and as an adult, this single organ consumes over 20% of the body's entire energy supply. To grow such an overwhelming organ inside the womb, a fetus cannot afford to wait for a slow, passive distribution of nutrients from the mother. It evolved to aggressively hack directly into her bloodstream to fuel its rapid neurological development, pushing the mother's body into an incredibly dangerous position. If a biological invader is allowed to dig freely into major blood vessels without any resistance, the mother faces a critical risk of catastrophic hemorrhaging during pregnancy or childbirth. To survive this internal threat, the female body evolved a highly sophisticated defensive system, known to scientists as the process of decidualization. In response to ovulation, the cells of the uterine lining automatically transform, becoming incredibly dense, tough, and tightly packed to form a literal shield of flesh. This biological barrier prevents the embryo from burrowing too deeply into the mother's vital internal organs. Simultaneously, this rigid shield acts as a ruthless, quality-controlled checkpoint, intercepting and terminating genetically abnormal or weak embryos at the earliest stage. While other mammals only build this barrier after receiving a successful conception signal, the human female body takes a proactive path, constructing this heavily fortified fortress unconditionally. Whether a guest arrives or not, the front lines are armed to the teeth. When no embryo arrives, the body faces a dilemma. This massive, hardened shield cannot be reabsorbed. To prepare for the next cycle, the body must completely demolish and expel this entire fortified structure. This extreme reset, destroying the old shield to build a stronger one, is the true biological reality of menstruation. It is not a cleansing of dirty blood, but a monumental, evolutionary sacrifice. Without this fierce internal battle protecting the mother, large-brained human children could never have been safely born into this world. The grand biological ritual took place out in the wild Ice Age, where our ancient ancestors handled it with incredible resilience. Modern anthropologists studying the world's last remaining hunter-gatherer tribes, like the Hadza in Africa, discovered that prehistoric women experienced menstruation far less frequently than we do today, averaging only about 50 times in an entire lifetime. This massive ninefold difference is entirely due to a natural, nomadic lifestyle. In the prehistoric era, women entered pregnancy almost immediately upon reaching maturity. Following childbirth, they breastfed continuously for 3 to 4 years, which stimulates the pituitary gland to secrete high levels of the hormone prolactin, naturally suppressing ovulation completely for years at a time. Furthermore, the grueling daily routine and scarce food supplies kept their body fat percentage exceptionally low, which automatically shuts down ovulation to preserve life. Yet those few times still posed a genuine threat to survival in the wild. Let us observe our prehistoric woman by the icy stream again. In the surrounding frozen wetlands, rich carpets of dark green peat moss, known as sphagnum moss, spread across the ground. She pulls up a large clump with her rough hands and squeezes it dry. This remarkable natural material possesses physical properties perfectly suited for survival, holding an incredible amount of liquid, up to 20 times its own dry weight. Beyond its exceptional absorbency, this natural moss contains powerful native antibacterial and antifungal agents that actively prevent infections. This is not a theoretical guess. Historical records show that sphagnum moss is the oldest recorded medical absorbent utilized by humanity. Even during World War I, when manufactured cotton bandages ran critically short on the battlefields, frontline doctors used sterilized peat moss to bind soldiers' wounds, because its absorbency was twice as high as commercial cotton. Beyond wild vegetation, the Ice Age wilderness provided various other raw materials, such as the softened inner core of river reeds or the flexible, fibrous inner bark of birch trees. Prehistoric women also utilized a highly effective secret weapon, expertly processed animal hides. At numerous Paleolithic sites, archaeologists have unearthed countless stone scrapers used to strip away fat and repeatedly soften thick animal pelts, which women used as highly effective, reusable absorbent guards secured around the waist. However, even with absorbency solved, an even greater threat loomed in the wild: the scent of blood. To apex predators like saber-toothed cats or dire wolves, that scent was an unmistakable beacon. If a menstruating woman slept within the tribe's cramped communal cave, that distinct odor would transform the entire community into a target in the dead of night. To survive, our ancestors developed a brilliant collective strategy, confirmed by a groundbreaking 2019 study published in the Cambridge University journal American Antiquity. Archaeologists discovered the remains of a small, isolated circular structure situated entirely away from the main communal living area of the tribe. Inside this small hut, they uncovered highly unusual artifacts. Large quantities of red ochre powder, traces of specific medicinal herbs used for disinfection, and piles of soft plant fibers. The Cambridge research team officially concluded that this structure was an ancient menstrual hut, used as a cold, rational, and highly intelligent survival strategy to protect the community from nocturnal predators. Another fascinating piece of evidence found across Paleolithic sites worldwide is the heavy presence of red ochre, a natural iron oxide pigment used by humans for at least 100,000 years. Renowned anthropologist Chris Knight proposed a brilliant theory. Red ochre powder, with its powerful antibacterial, drying, and deodorizing properties, was applied directly to absorbent materials and the skin to mask and neutralize odors completely, blinding the keen sense of smell of prowling predators. As humanity entered the era of written history, these ingenious methods became even more clearly documented. By 3500 BC, in ancient Egypt, women discovered that the inner pith of the iconic papyrus plant, when soaked and pressed, became incredibly soft, flexible, and absorbent, fashioning them into the direct, functional ancestors of the modern tampon. Similarly, in the 5th century BC, the clinical texts of Hippocrates explicitly describe Greek women wrapping soft lint around small, smooth pieces of wood for internal absorbent protection. Despite these ancient innovations, the journey toward modern sanitary products faced immense social conservatism. When Johnson & Johnson first introduced disposable sanitary napkins in 1896, they met a wall of societal prejudice. Historical company records show that 19th century women were so overcome with embarrassment that they could not bring themselves to say the product's name to a cashier, choosing instead to silently leave coins in a box by the counter. Looking back at this journey, from the Ice Age to modern sterile pads, we must assert a profound truth. Menstruation is not a biological weakness, a source of shame, or a curse of nature. It is the most sophisticated, resilient, and magnificent survival system designed by evolution. To nurture children with massive brains, women endured a fierce biological battle within their own bodies, rebuilding their internal defenses month after month. Prehistoric women used their primal intelligence to save themselves and protect their tribes, solving the harshest equations of survival without a single page in conventional history books. The greatest lesson prehistoric history leaves us today is a deep respect for our bodies and the natural mechanisms that ensured our existence. Understanding this journey allows us to dismantle lingering toxic stigmas and view this process as an enduring testament to human strength. If you could travel back 40,000 years into the past and stand outside that small, isolated hut on a freezing Ice Age night, what words of gratitude or shared strength would you want to express to our remarkable ancient ancestors? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below, and let us get a fascinating conversation started.